seen champions fall and underdogs rise. Anything can happen in the battleground of the gods. It is time.
The claps in, but she's still alive. Is it 1 HP? Beautiful ult from Herwin, locks the ball in.
Oh, they're gonna bring the different team skins.
Untouched, unscathed.
Could just be SPL update? I don't know.
To be world champions again. Be united. Keep on going. Rival trying to defend. They can't do it. Everyone from Flies in the Titan room.
I know when they have those SPLs like that, they have all the team skins. I bet you they're gonna come out with a bunch of those team skins. Yeah, looks like Maui has a new skin.
Hello everybody and welcome to another beautiful Smite update show. I am Titan Dandy and I am honored to be here to bring y'all the final season of Smite's Year 10, the Season of Worlds. What a journey it has been to get here to this crazy final season as we make our way towards SWCX. We've gone through 4 other incredible seasons through insane amount of changes, but we're not done yet. We have SWC right around the corner, and I am just so hyped for us to get there. And to join in the hype, I have 2 guests.
SWC might bring more blood to Smite, so that might be a plus.
Yo, doing great. Excited as always to show off a lot of the cool stuff we've been working on.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's going to be a great thing. You know, we have. You saw the video there. You saw the trailer for Season of Worlds. We have all these really cool decorations on the map. Like, Battleground has been kitted out to get ready for Worlds. You know, we're on the way there, and it's just. I'm hype. Every day we have a countdown. We have like whiteboards with countdowns on them that we pass by every day, and we're like, bro, it's on the way. So, I'm just so hyped. So we have a ton of stuff to go over, a whole lot of stuff. But I'm going to start off with some news like I always do. So to get right into it, first up, community news, Smite cosplay contest. Don't forget about it, right? Because time is running out. We have, let me double check. I don't want to say this wrong. November 27th, all right?
Contest.
So make sure that you're checking out November 27th.
I remember last year when that Baron Sammy caught hell, dude. I mean, that poor guy, he caught hell on Twitter. They're saying something about his black face paint. I was like, dude, just leave the guy alone. He was trying to look like Baron Sammy. He wasn't trying to make no political statement.
Show off and bring it to Worlds too if you're coming out. Like, bring it out.
I mean, he looks like Baron Sammy. He ended up winning.
Just yourself. Bring it and show off because you know people are going to want to be taking pictures and having fun.
People always try to bring drama into the gaming world, dude. Keep that crap in the real life.
Y'all seen the SWC merch go live. I am so hyped about it. I was up in that store checking things out. I just could not be more excited about it, honestly. It's so many different things. All the team shirts, all the merch, the hats. I want one of those, like the
maybe I should make a GGC
so
jersey.
My wallet is weeping.
Too many snowflakes nowadays. I'm telling you, man.
So make sure to check it out, shop.highresstudios.com to get all that really cool merch. So last but not least, we have something cool. It's kind of a spoiler, a little bit of a spoiler, but it's in the next section, so we'll get there right away.
Here we go.
As Year 10 comes to a close, we wanted to continue celebrating, continue hitting these big things because Year 10 has been all about a combination of our history and all of these exciting new changes, right? We love remembering what got us here through these 10 incredible years, as well as bringing things new, bringing things, to the forefront. So one of the cool things that we're bringing out is a twist on a legendary Smite skin, one that has gone down in history as one of the more famous Smite skins, but updated with some technology that we brought out more recently. And that is a new Poseidon skin called Poolseidon. Poseidon.
Can we customize names on the jersey?
You know what I'm getting
Maybe.
at. So
I'll look into it if you guys want me to. I was thinking about it.
It's one of those skins that's classic.
I'll look into it.
It's a historic part of Smite, and we wanted to revamp it with the Color Forge technology, so the ability to change its color.
I can probably customize names
as
like,
part of
like
our final
names on the
pushing towards the end of
sleeves
our year
on
10.
my
Just
shirt.
bring back one more crazy piece of our history. And a good thing to know about it is that each cool side and skin sold will benefit 2024 Smite esports. So
give me some ideas for a jersey. Maybe I'll look into
as a celebration
getting one
of the 10
made.
years of Smite, but we're continuing the tradition of having this skin benefit the community and benefit the things that y'all love by having it benefit esports in 2024. So we'll get into showing off the skin here in just a minute, don't worry, but I wanted to throw that out there because it's just, we're continuing to bring back these things that have created the legacy of Smite over the 10 years. So anyway, I've talked enough. I could talk all day, you know how I am. So let's get in to a new event, the Color Forge event. Color Forge.
The Color Forge event.
So I said that I've talked a lot. I'm going to keep talking because the event is, if you're not familiar with Color Forge, one of those events. We'll get into what that system means for those of you who don't know, but the event itself has brand new skins that you can get and a whole brand new variety of dyes.
Christmas
to use
jumpers,
with the Color
huh?
Forge skins. So you can get the dyes through the chest. There are weekly missions, as these events do. But you also have the ability to go to the quest tab and earn a free skin, the Little Charmer Cupid skin. So if you remember the last Color Forge event, actually, this was a skin you could have earned back then as well. But if you missed your opportunity
it's the same one?
it will be a free quest reward through this event. So make sure to grab it. And it is a Color Forge skin, so you'll be able to use all of these fantastic dyes. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what the Color Forge system is, let me be brief in explaining that it is a super cool new tech we added a little while ago that lets you take Color Forge applicable skins. It's not every skin, it's the Color Forge skins, let's be clear. But you can apply dyes to them. And the dye changes the skin's color, so like the apparel, and the ability effects. So it is truly a dye across the entire
It's a pretty cool
shape
concept.
of the kit.
I gotta admit.
And we're adding new ones. Now,
And
the
they
cool
had
thing
cooler
about this, for those of you
skins.
who don't know, because this is the second time we've really rolled out a big Color Forge release, is that all dyes work with all Color Forge skins. It doesn't matter if you get some of the new dyes we're about to talk about and you want to rock them on the raw ramen skin that came out
What's
last
up,
time,
Batman?
go for it. They always work with each other. So we're adding new color to skins you may already own and giving you new and exciting skins to use the new and old colors with. So super cool system. I absolutely love it. I'm amazed at how they built the system out. And I'm going to stop talking now and we're going to get into some skins. So the first skin we're going to talk about is Intergalactic
Yeah, that'd be a good one, you
Harvester
K-Paul.
Thanatos.
They think I'm cute.
This skin's so epic.
It very much is.
I think it's even really fun too that Color Forge can be applied to the skin.
That
because
actually looks
everything
like
about this skin
Robotech.
changes. The card art you see here, nice reds and whites and chromes and even a little bit of gold
like a
touches here and
crimson.
there. But you throw in Bubblegum and that guy goes completely pink. It's great.
I love that you called out Bubblegum because, I don't know why. I land on Bubblegum a lot.
We had a long discussion we were waiting for our playtest to start, and we had a good 10 minutes on which dyes everyone preferred. You and Ro are in the same camp. He is also a Bubblegum main. Lermy was not as convinced.
Listen, there's so many cool new colors coming out as well. It's
True.
Bubblegum is great. It is very girl boss moment as well, which you always love to see. But there's lots of other cool new ones as well that I can't wait to show off for you guys.
Oh, I'm excited for it. But first, let's dive in game for this. I want to see. I love the Color Forge stuff. I want to see it in game. Oh, and
there's
look
our
at that.
logo.
What the
Smite
hell is
World
that? Is that
Championship,
freaking
Season X,
yeah, it is
SWCX,
Thanatos.
right there in the mid lane. Absolutely incredible.
Love getting just like this reminder of I gotta start getting
Robotech.
hyped for Worlds every time I load into a match. Like it just really sets the tone for me right away and gets me amped up right away.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great skin, and I love the jump stamp too. If y'all peeped,
It
that.
looks like Robotech,
So,
yeah.
dude.
Oh.
Have you guys ever
Looking
watched the old
good.
Robotech
So, absolutely glorious.
cartoons?
And again, so many things about this skin will change. You're gonna see.
It's a little planet.
Oh, wow, you're right. You're going to see the colors of the skin itself change. So all of that, all of the gray, all the red, completely different. Like if that's your style, rock it. If you want to go pink, do that. You'll see the effects change. It's such a cool system because especially if you have all the old dyes, which, how many there are? 8, 10? It's a lot of dyes.
I mean, it doesn't
It's a
look
lot of
bad.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
what
turns
that big
every
orb
skin
on his
into,
back
8
is.
different skins. So absolutely incredible with this one. And super hyped up about it.
It doesn't have
and,
big
so
wings.
This is the first one. The
is a
second
pl-
one
yeah,
is one
I
I
agree.
just spoiled a
1000%.
second ago,
1000%.
and that is called Cool Sidon Poseidon. So for those of you who are Smite fans, a
Yeah,
throwback
can't
to
beat
Cool
my
Sidon,
favorite Grim Reaper one either.
See,
He's ready.
Poolside.
My favorite one is that
today.
Grim Reaper one.
And again, it was just something that we wanted to bring back to honor the 10 years, because I mean that skin is
The graveyard
it's a skin of
one.
legend in our community.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
And I know for the poolside owners out there that are worried about their exclusivity and all that kind of stuff, I know that poolside is still poolside.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
It is.
Totally separate.
It's its own thing.
Completely different thing.
Poolside is this new cool skin with all the color forge and all that kind of great stuff. But poolside users can still flex if they wanted to.
Yeah. And that's a super important note to bring back, is that poolside is very much its own thing. Like if you
No, they haven't really.
Poolside,
They
you are
haven't said
still
crap yet, dude.
legendary.
They just
You
been
still have-
jibber
that is your
jabbering.
bragging
That
right.
skin,
You
that
get to
Thanatos skin
showcase
was the first
that
thing they
in
showed.
front of the world.
You haven't
for the
missed
whole world
nothing.
to see. But this is something completely different. As kind of a milestone,
Looks
it
like
was
a
such a huge thing. We
gone
wanted to
down.
bring it
Yeah,
up
he
with
does.
new technology. So I think we'd be doing it injustice without diving straight into game to see this cool-tastic skin. So let's check it out.
Iconic. And
Iconic.
one of the best voice packs in the entire
Look,
game.
he's wearing
Honestly,
flippers.
So true.
I'm
It is
Fool's
great.
wearing
I'm very
flippers.
excited that more people get a chance to use that
And then
voice pack.
Bowel.
Yeah, classic.
It's such a good skin.
The Quacken, I mean, all of it.
Dude,
just-
this
I mean,
looks like
it's-
something from
It's one of the
Fortnite.
most sought after skins.
Oh,
Like it's
Release the
The best part about this is that everything changes from the
Yeah,
Kraken
that
itself
Kraken-
to the
that
water
Kraken
color.
is funny.
All of that goes.
I like that. I like
in
that
a
rubber
number of
ducky.
different
That's
colors,
funny.
Depending on what you pick. There are some that look really, really cool on him. Like there's a couple multicolored
That was good
ones that I
timing
gotta
on the
say are
Kraken,
some of
by
my
the way.
favorites. So definitely
Good
be
job,
sure that you're
Auburn.
checking those out when you get to see all those different colors on this skin, because they look incredible.
Yeah, I like the rubber ducky. That's
Now
the
we're
part
at
I
a great
like.
time
The
to
rest
talk
of him, he
about
looks
some
like
of
a
the new
clown,
colors.
but I like the rubber
Obviously,
ducky.
With the World Championship on the way, we couldn't release a color forge without giving you some team colors. So part of this will be the World's
So I
Chest.
think this might be
There's
a
World's
free,
Chest, and you can
skin,
unlock
so we might be able to get
some
it.
of these in other ways.
I
But the
could be
World's
wrong.
Chest will contain
Or is it a
chance to unlock
chest?
every different SPL team's die kit. So you can take these skins and rock your favorite SPL team's colors going through matches. So you
think
want to
they
be
might be
cool
free
side,
skins.
rocking whatever, like supporting your team. You're out there on the battleground doing it in style with the Quacken. So
With the
honestly, just
Quacken.
super cool. I love Color Forge Tech. I love that we're
The
able to
Quacken.
do this, and super excited to talk about the event. So now we have some additional skins we're going to talk about.
Giveaway
some of those that fall
coming
out of the
soon?
big events.
Probably so.
We have
I hope
a
so.
chest, the Winter Wonderland chest, coming through, and this one is going to have 2 skins in it. The first of them being Midnight Freeze X-Ball.
Yeah, this one I was looking forward to. This one is
Ooh,
is
that one
really,
looks kinda
really
cool.
Just X-Ball is like
You
his
could ask
weapon is
yourself a
just
question.
so unique that I'm always really excited
Do
to
I
see
feel
what
lucky?
the
Well,
team
do you,
comes
punk?
up with for making a skin. Like how do we change those bolas?
I know
you know, what
Lovern was
direction are we
lucky.
gonna go
That
with
fool won both
and This one
giveaways.
is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it would both give you frostbite and maybe catch you up a bit.
Yeah.
They said this
that would hurt, I
Poseidon
think.
Double
recolor
nickel on
is
that.
the skin.
So this will be
you
the
gotta
first of
pay.
the skins available in
and
the
money they
Winter
get
Wonderland chest.
invest
The second
into
of
the
which
esports,
is
into
Yule
the
Cheer
esports.
Aphrodite.
So we're going from a really strong, badass looking guy to just having a good time during the holidays,
the
giving
hell?
out some gifts, making people happy, showing the love. It's just a very warm themed card. I just think it brings the spirit of the holidays.
Yeah, it makes me think
Christmas
of that
coming
like
up. Why
Fenrir
not?
skin card art where he's
They got
blood
Bad
to
Santa.
splatter and he's
And the hot
by the
cocoa.
fire.
And they got the little
yeah.
Ratataska.
That's one of my favorite card
I
arts
think he
we've
has
ever
a
done.
Christmas one, too.
This one, I love our badass skins, our scary skins.
Afro
our,
looks like she got a
spooky
breast
stuff.
reduction on this
Everyone's
skin.
always asking for
Not that it's a
spooky
bad
stuff,
thing.
but I also like these wholesome
Yeah.
holiday ones at the
Yeah,
same
it's
time. I
Afro.
think it's great.
It's
Hey,
very
get in the
comfortable.
spirit.
Yep.
So those will be in the Winter Wonderland chest, which is coming with the update next Tuesday, so right around the corner. Now let's dive into some bonus stuff. So this isn't coming out until a ways into November. This is the bonus update, so you're going to have to wait for it a little bit. But we have
The
one
bonus
more
update?
skin coming with the Color Forge event, and this one is really hype. You might notice something a little different about this when we get into it. We have Rotten Rascal Baron Somni.
This one might be my favorite in the update.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but it is just such a cool concept.
It is.
As you'll notice here, Baron is now a Baroness.
A Baroness.
And is looking really sick
What?
and really scary in a
Yeah.
lot of ways as well.
Got
What?
the clown aesthetic is just, I don't know, I rock with it. Every time we release a clown themed skin, I'm like, I'm terrified, but going to main it.
They made him a girl.
So let's check this out in game. 'cause
With
it's
Mickey Mouse
it's just
ears.
such a twist from the Baron we all know.
You remember that spooky thing I was
Yeah, but what's
saying
up with the
that,
Mickey Mouse
everyone's always
ears,
asking
dude?
for something spooky.
Yeah.
We like to deliver when it comes to that for sure.
That's very true. And Baron does it so well, too. Baron is just naturally, as one of my favorite characters in the game, suits these spooky
My
things
Mom
very
Mel
well,
coming
but
soon.
Such a dramatic change here.
Dude,
and again,
I just
if
don't
you missed me
understand why
saying
they
it,
give her
this
Mickey
will be,
Mouse ears. That's
bonus
silly.
Update.
That's so cool. I hadn't seen that.
Animation is awesome.
It looks like she has 2 furry nuts on her head.
That is great.
But this is part of the Color Forge event in the bonus update. So you have to wait for the bonus. Okay, we got that out of the way. But it's Color Forge. That means you're going to rock all of the different colors
Yeah,
that you
they should've
already
done it
own.
from Milan.
The
I agree.
SPL colors you pick up with the main update. Like, you're
Or
really
give
gonna
her
be
some
able
type
to,
of headpiece
rock
or a
this
hat
in
or
variety
something.
Of different colors and
Not
styles.
2
So-
freaking
Jazzberry
furry
Jam.
nuts
like
on her head.
Jazzberry
I mean, that's
Jam.
crazy.
Exactly. So for those Jazzberry stands out
silly.
there, this is your update.
Harley
So
Quinn.
yeah, that's going to be the first. The second skin coming with the bonus update. Again, I'm gonna nail this into the ground. It's the bonus update. I have to say it because I want to see them right now, but I know I gotta wait. Is going to be the Portal Punk chest, and we're getting Portal Punk Janice.
Yep.
And that's why I said Mike.
Janice?
Because this one is also so sick.
It is so sick.
It looks like
That
Mercury.
guy's just cool. Like,
I mean, look at the sunglasses.
if you're getting styled on by this guy, also he's like 50,000 feet tall in comparison to these poor
yeah,
chumps
he looks
down
like a
here.
Mercury more than the Janice to
And
me.
he's like 50,000 times cooler than them because he's got sunglasses bigger
But
than
what
their
sucks is
bodies.
they're not. Hopefully they show this one
know.
because
Yeah,
it looks
multiple.
interesting.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
follow that up. You're right. That's just true. So not to call him out or anything, but if my
Janice
brother's
can't
out there,
run.
he's
Right?
a huge Baron main, and this is his bonus update. You know, so it's
It is.
a gift from us to you. So, but those will do it. We have some more skins we're going to talk about, but that's going to do it for now because we have.
Oh,
some
'cause
we
this is
got-
part
we
of
got
the
some
bonus
stuff to dive
update, so
into.
they
We got
can't
some
show us
balance to
yet.
dive into.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and I guess we're just going to hop right into it. So. Conquest, let's get this out of the way. There's just one little Conquest change coming up. Obviously, you saw the decorations we're adding to the map. It's looking beautiful, but as we move towards Worlds, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Like, we're letting our teams get ready and practice so that we see the best of the best play that they're practiced with on this map. But it does look beautiful and kitted up and like excited for SWC with the decoration. But it looks like shield buff is just getting a little touch up.
Yeah, to kind of like add to that preface that you were talking about, a little bit about the World's balance coming up is that this will probably be like
Chris
the
Barnes
last
shield buff?
really solid balance patch
Increase
going into it.
protections
We're still
per
going to be,
level
of course,
from
doing bonus balance and
1.
adjustments going forward.
That's not-
but
how the
don't
hell is that a
expect,
buff?
like a ton of huge sweeping
There's a little
changes.
spice here.
There's some
There's a
spice
little
here.
Wouldn't that be a
spice,
nerf?
but
In this
not
patch
much.
specifically,
Right.
going forward,
I mean, I
is
don't
what
care
we
about
mean that it's
Conquest
going to be
anyway.
a little bit toned down to make sure that the competitive viability of that event is staying intact.
Yep.
Nothing crazy switching up after this. This is going to be fun. This is going to be awesome. Going forward, a little bit more about that competitive nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, long story short, shield buff just getting a little bit of a decrease per level, looks like.
Yep, exactly. Shield buff has seen a lot of priority at the highest levels of play, speaking of getting ready for Worlds and SWC and all that kind of stuff. Shield buff value just seems to be a little bit too high.
Oh, it's
right
just a
now in the
jungle
duo
camp
lane,
buff?
Yeah,
in
towards the
particular,
lane.
how many protections you're getting, getting
Yeah,
the
it's a
shield
nerf,
is
though.
good.
They're
But
cutting it
a
by
lot of the
50%.
focus
That
becomes
sounds like
the
a nerf, not a
protections that the
buff.
buff gives you and how
Oh, or is he talking
heavily
about
that
the
weight
shield
trades in
buff?
your
That's the
favor,
name of it,
among
shield
ADCs
buff.
in
Gotcha,
particular, so
gotcha,
just wanted to
gotcha.
reduce that a little bit.
That's where it
Sounds
wasn't
fair.
making
All right,
sense.
so we're hopping from
It's
Conquest
called shield
directly
buff.
into
You get a shield
some
buff.
item
It's not.
nerfs. We've
The
heard
shield
you
is not
talk
getting
a lot
buffed.
about the stuff you want to see change. So hopefully
Dude,
we're
I
able
don't
to
care about
tackle some of
Conquest,
that
man.
now. And let's dive right
Yeah,
into
it's just
Breastplate
the
of
name.
Determination.
Yeah, so a lot of the things that you're going to see in here are going to
Ooh.
kind of go in a bunch of different directions. So this specifically has been a
decreased
core
protections per
kind of part
stack
of
from
a couple
7
of
to
pain
5.
points talking about warrior solos and just
Yeah.
like people building a little bit defensively in general, and that
That's
is
a
due
pretty
to,
nasty,
in
nerf,
part,
actually.
a large part actually
it's a
of
revert to
Breastplate
what
of
it was.
Determination. So we are completely reverting the change that we recently did to it to only the glyph. The base is still staying at its updates that it got recently, because before it was basically unpurchased, very unpopular, which
totally
is
out of
surprising because it got so popular basically overnight.
Yep.
But yeah, we are still happy with where the base is at. It's just this glyph is kind of way too much. We're bringing it back.
Yes.
Got it. Rock and roll. So moving on, another nerf, Fablessed Hoops.
Yeah, so Fablessed Hoops. This one is one
Big.
that we are really excited about.
very
Gotta give a
happy
quick shout out
Added
to
internal
Chaos,
cooldown
the
of
lead
10
programmer
seconds.
here at Titan Forge. This is a highly requested change from the pros on adding an internal cooldown to Fablessed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as simple as just tacking
turn
it
it
on there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked intuitively or the way that we really wanted it to, but Chaos was able to find a really unique way and find us some moments to get in
What
exactly
the
what we
crap?
wanted to happen. So now Fablessed,
Right?
if you use something, let's say,
Say
I don't know, Umoja 2, which might just be the whole reason why this had to happen. If you use Umoja 2, if your Fey Bless is off cooldown, it will drop a flower for each ally that it hits along the way.
Got it.
But it will trigger the cooldown on the first ally that drops a flower. If you then use Umoja 2 again while the item is on cooldown,
Got it.
no flowers will spawn.
Yep.
Okay.
But as soon as it comes off of cooldown, if you're mid to bounce to an ally, they will drop a flower, proc the cooldown, and then it will.
I don't
go
really
off.
use
So
that item
basically,
anyway, dude. So I'm
easy
like,
way is
whatever.
the ability that triggers Fey
It
Bless
seems like it worked really
is
well
able
with
to
Afro.
Still drop a flower for each unique god on your
Yeah,
team.
it sucks. That's a
that
big
walks into
that's a
it,
big
which is the
nerf for Arena
functionality
for
that we
sure.
really felt like was important to keep it good.
But you got to think, dude,
but
all these
it won't
changes
be
are for
nearly as
Conquest.
useful
We just
by
get the
some
ripple
gods
effects,
that,
dude.
may or
It's
may not be
usually
Umoja
not
on.
good for us.
Well, glad to hear that those specifically or super non-specific use cases have been toned down a little bit.
Yes.
So next up, we have Fail Not on the list.
Yeah, so this is kind of shifting lanes a little bit
Yeah,
over to
moving a
the
little bit.
duo side, where we've seen a lot of hunters start to pick up this item, especially in this kind of hybrid basic attack and crit build where you can get a little bit of
Oh,
both
that
worlds.
sucks, dude.
This item just had a lot of different things on this passive to where we decided, you know what, all these other things that it does, this is great. It doesn't also need to
Yeah, for Sylvanas, that
reduce
worked
damage
really
of
good too.
the
Yeah,
enemy
you're
that
right.
gets marked by it. It's already a great item. Doesn't need this extra bit on top.
Yeah, that item on
Sounds
Sylvanas
good.
is
Well, now we're going
really,
to some
really
bling
strong.
with Telkine's Ring, also getting a nerf.
Yeah, Telkine's and Enchanted Ring both getting a little bit of a nerf here. They're just
Yeah.
kind of going hand in hand.
Oh,
Magical ADCs have been
man.
really, really strong in the duo lane,
Yeah.
and we do like to have some variety there. You know, we don't
Well,
want it.
looks like
to
Freya's getting
completely
nerfed
remove
again.
These gods from the meta, but they've just been a little bit too prominent for too long, and so we're just taking some power out of Telkine's and Enchanted Ring in particular in order to just bolster up some hunter play there.
Yeah, essentially in the early game as well, because Telkine's tends to be the first one that you're buying,
Yeah.
and Enchanted Ring also helps bring down that like power spike a little bit when you've only got the tier 2, and that does affect every single ring. So
Yep.
even though that effect onto Telkine's is the greatest, you're still getting a little bit at other points in the game as well.
Got it. So next up, kind of moving up, down, moving to a lower tier on the item tree
Yeah.
here with Tiny Trinket and
I
Enchanted
agree.
Trinket.
Yeah, so this is going to be
Magical
a whole
ADCs are
grouping of
getting
items. It's probably going to be best to
castrated,
explain
dude.
these kind of all at the same
Let's
time.
dive into the
So,
group then.
First things first, Tiny Trinket is the tier 1 of the lifesteal tree. So everything in the magical lifesteal tree comes from Tiny Trinket. The cost of this item is going up to 600, and you're probably like, well, only some of these lifesteal items are kind of like problems right now,
Yeah.
you might say. So to kind of compensate for that, we are also increasing Enchanted Trinket, which is the tier 2.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of shifting around where the money is. So essentially, you're still getting that increase at that tier 2 of Tiny Trinket, or sorry, Enchanted Trinket, which is on the side of Pythags and Soul Gem.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the items that are remaining the same, that are not getting affected by this at all, are
Yeah, we
Soul
always
Gems,
get
so
the
that's
ripple
actually getting
effects
a
of these
price
freaking
decrease
good
to kinda
idea
compensate
fairies,
for that.
dude.
So it's staying the same exact price
Yep.
at $23.50. Town Trinket also staying the exact
Because
same
you got to think
price.
about it, dude. In
Bancroft,
Conquest,
Glyph, and
it's
Typhon,
more
all those
one-on-one,
guys, same
two-on-one
exact
type
price that they were
fighting.
before. It's only the
Arena
tier
is
1
5-on-5,
and the tier 2
5-on-5,
of
you
Enchanted
know what I'm
Trinket that are
saying?
getting
So
changed there.
we just get the
Pythags
ripple effects,
is
dude.
a little bit of a separate
What
case
makes
because
sense
it
for
is
Conquest
still
sometimes is
retaining
just
that price
stupid as hell
increase, and
for
it's also
Arena,
getting a
but
decrease
I mean, it is
of
what it
max
is.
health.
We're an
Yes.
afterthought, man.
So this is the mage solo section.
Yes.
You were looking for.
Yeah.
Basically,
There
is
it
the way to
is,
think
yeah.
about it, right? We just want to this build gets online really early,
Yeah.
and then has a lot of stats that these mages care about. It has health, it has cooldown, it
Decrease
has
the
power,
max
it has
health from
lifesteal.
200 to
And that,
150,
coupled with
dude.
either the cooldown buff from the blue totem or the
I mean, I
lifesteal
don't really
buff of the
use
red
that item
totem,
anyway,
Silver.
but
or silver,
golly.
right? Exactly. It compounds very quickly.
Got it.
So we just want to slow down this early game. We think that the breastplate of
I mean, I don't know,
Determination
dude. Maybe
nerf
these
will more
changes
heavily
make
affect
sense for
these
Conquest.
solo
I wouldn't know,
mages
dude. Tell you the
than
truth, I don't know
than
jack
other
crap about
archetypes.
Conquest.
And then we are
care
increasing
about it.
the cost for Pythags piece in particular, as Lermy said, slowing it down in the early game.
Yeah.
Decreasing the health
Yeah.
on Pythags piece from 200 to 150.
Yeah.
And then also we'll have some nerfs for Vampiric Shroud and Blood-Soaked Shroud, just taking 5 power off of both of those.
Yeah.
It isn't, it doesn't seem like any one really intense nerf.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of their items that they're going
Yeah.
are all being touched in, or not all, but most are being touched in some way.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And as a spoiler, we've got a lot of warrior buffs coming to some of their itemization and things like that.
Oh, Kabrakan
We
uses
don't-
that item?
We
I never
didn't want
used
to
it.
overdo it,
Yeah, of course.
but we also wanted, this has been a heavy community topic that we wanted to make sure felt like was appropriately addressed.
Yes.
So this is something that we are going to be very closely monitoring. Bonus balance is not too far away. And if it seems like we undershot our target and warriors are still not able to compete quite enough, then you can probably expect more changes in that bonus.
Yeah. The last thing to mention in this section, I guess you could say, is that the change to Vampiric and to Tiny Trinket is going to heavily impact the early game, especially because the cost increase means you get one less pot, and the power on Vampiric Shroud means that clearing is going to be a little less good as well. So you are getting less sustain and less power going forward in this solo lane mage world.
Yeah, well, awesome. I mean, that was a lot too. So if you weren't able to keep up, that was a lot of changes, a lot of back and forth. Make sure to check out the update notes. They should be live now. If they happen to not be live now,
all items are unaffected
our
and
website's
have
in a
the
headlock.
same
We're trying to
total
get it to do it.
cost.
It's fighting
Soul
us.
Gem,
It is fighting us. But it should be live now. So make sure you're
Talon
following along
Trinket,
if you really want to
good.
get all of those
Bancroft's
details and
Talon
read it
and
for yourself.
Typhon's
It's all
good.
there. So I guess you talked about item buffs. I guess it's time to dive into item buffs. But we're kicking it off with Absolution, a little bit of max health.
So Absolution is a really cool item.
It is.
And it's unfortunate because we haven't seen very much of it. And that's mostly
I didn't even know that was an
due to
item.
just the challenge of being able to
I've never
keep
even
your
heard of
team
it.
coordinated and playing around it, and also having to spend such an expensive resource like an ultimate to actually get that cool effect. So one thing that we're trying to do is we like that
I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't even know what the hell it
challenge
does.
area of it. We just kind of want it to be more stat efficient for when you're not actually like getting that incredible reward, because again, it is very challenging to do. We just want to make sure that you're not sad if you mess it up and you're like, well, now I just have not great stats at this point.
No, that makes perfect sense. Another item that at least I don't see super often, Abyssal Stone, getting a little bit of a touch-up.
Yeah, I'm an Abyssal Stone abuser for sure. I love this item, and we're just giving it a little bit more magical protection.
Got it.
So much of what makes these mage solos really oppressive is that they just have more abilities to use. They're just, with their cooldown reduction, all that kind of stuff we just touched, they're just using so many abilities. Abyssal Stone can...
Are you using on
slow that
Ganesha?
down. And so by giving it a little bit more magical protection, makes it a little bit more efficient. Can be a good second item for these warriors in the solo lane. Potentially even a first item if you don't need the help clearing.
Yeah, if you see
and
two
that
little
should
Ewoks in the
hopefully help
background, those
their
are my
lane a little
dogs.
bit and remove some of that strength of what they're relying
just
on.
tone it down a little bit, make it more manageable.
Yep.
Cool. So next up is Amulet of Silence.
Yeah, this is another cool one as well, because Amulet of Silence, just like base stat wise, is very, very good.
Yeah.
But the passive is pretty inconsistent. When you get it off, it feels great. But the thing is that it's just very hard to actually purposefully play around, because it requires, again, enemies to do something, and it requires them to do a lot of things. So by the time it actually happens that you can do it, it's kind of too late by that point. They've already cast their whole kit. So to kind of address that, we want to bring the stat count down from 4 to 3. So it takes 3 abilities that you have to be in range with, and it also can happen every 12 seconds now.
Okay,
so
cool.
Make sure that you're sitting around them. Try not to get hit, but
try not to get hit, but if it happens, like, you're ready.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Next up, Erendite, kind of a shifting the speed around.
This is spicy.
This one is a little bit spicy. Erendite, when you can make use of the passive,
I
it's
just
really
put
good,
that on
but
freaking
it's
Thanatos
time-gated,
this morning,
not every guy
and it
uses
worked
that
out
passive
beautifully.
super
Now
well.
that they added
And there
7%
was so
movement
much
speed on it,
strength
dude, that was
in the passive that we felt like we couldn't make the overall base item better.
increase the
because
passive movement speed
was
from 30.
so strong.
I
So we're
just
doing a
this
little bit of a
morning I
shift here.
added
We're
that to my
removing some of that
Thanatos build I
strength from
needed
the
to
passive.
test.
We're
It worked really good
decreasing
against
the movement speed
hard
on the
buffs.
Erendite proc from 30% to 20%.
I removed the
but
starter and put
you're
that
just going to
instead.
get 7% movement speed all the time. So it's kind of like a katana.
Nice.
The katanas
Very
are normally
nice.
the movement speed items, but Erendite is an assassin-specific item, really, that is really designed for them. So giving them that movement speed feels appropriate and should hopefully make this item a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, even though it's less movement speed overall, just the fact that you have it all the time, very, very strong.
It makes up for that 3%.
Yeah, exactly.
So now to move on to just bonk, just some pure bonk. Ballers,
I like
ballers
that.
beat
I
stick,
like that
get some
buff
more
right
power.
there.
Yeah,
That made
so
me
we're
happy.
keeping an eye on those healers and self-sustainers going into
Brawler
worlds,
stick
which is
getting
a
a little
very
bit more
important time
attack
that we
power.
got to make sure that everything's under control there. So we kind of want to
Nice.
incentivize a little bit more brawlers purchases. Sometimes it can feel like a pretty big trade-off if you're going this relatively early, first or second. You're like, am I trading a Joltens? Am I trading a Transcendence?
I don't really
has a lot
use
of
this one
power.
too much,
This
but
is
at
gonna make it so that
45 damage, it might be worth
trade
looking
that you have
into
to do
for
is not
a
as
ability-based
painful, you might
god.
say.
Got it.
For you, not for
Yes,
them.
the
It's
enemy
actually
is gonna
more
have-
painful
Whoever you're
for
hitting.
them.
Yeah, not a good time.
It's going to be pretty rough. But so next up, Corrupted Bluestone. Looks like overall just getting a little bit of a touch-up.
Yeah, I mean, Bluestone, we know we have to be very careful with base Bluestone and then
It has history.
Bluestone Brooch because it can become dominant very quickly. But Corrupted Bluestone just hasn't been able to fill the more defensive side of the Bluestone upgrade. You know, if you're an offensive character like a Sun Wukong, Bluestone Brooch feels great. But for those characters that want to get a little bit
I know,
tankier
right?
in the end game, but
they're
really like
slowly
Bluestone to help
putting
clear
back
them
all
early,
those
gods like Vamana,
reverting all those
something like
upgrades they did.
Corrupted
Yeah, I've been
being more
noticing that
viable
too.
can help them a lot. So we are just increasing that damage over time duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. That means it just does more damage because we're not
All those
adjusting the damage itself.
big
And
nerfs, now they're starting to give back
increasing the
just a
protection
little
increase
bit,
per
just
stack
a little bit.
from 4% to 5%. And percent increases of a number that's already
I'm just
pretty
waiting
big
for one of
most
my
the time, you know,
big
mid 200s
items to
for
get
protections,
hit.
hopefully. We think that this will be pretty impactful.
Yeah, that sounds huge. I mean, again,
Because all these are
it's a
physical
constant
type
thing in
guys.
this.
I
You
guess
think
this one's
1%,
magical
you're like,
too.
oh wow, it's 1%, and then you realize
Times a
They've
couple
been doing it a
times.
few
That's-
patches
Yep.
since such
So
a bad
last
idea.
gas next up looks
Only
like it's getting
reduce
a couple
everything.
seconds
Yeah, I
worth of
know.
love to both the buff and the internal cooldown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
we
don't
talked a
use
little
this
bit
item
about the
either.
healing kind of countering.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the healing bolstering as well, because Last Gasp is a really interesting item where it is a little bit difficult to use, and we're kind of happy with that challenge of needing to be very particular about who
I don't
you're
even know who
healing
the
to
hell
get
would
that
use this.
extra burst of
Aphrodite,
power,
maybe?
But we want it to be a little bit easier
Maybe
to
the Baron?
not have to worry so much about, am I using my Last Gasp
Yeah.
proc? Am I like wasting
getting
it,
it off?
essentially? So what we've done is we've kind of increased the consistency of it by going for a longer buff duration
Baron?
and a
Yeah, that's what I
decreased
thought.
internal cooldown. So what this means is you could have it up 100% of the time, but most characters aren't going to
Good
have
for
a heal
Shiva?
at this 8-second
Oh, the
timer.
stone,
So it's
yeah.
really just you not having to worry so much about, again, like wasting a proc on someone that's close to full health.
I think I
If
might
you
have
do
tried
want to
Last
get that
Gasp
proc,
on
it will
Baron
almost
before.
certainly
I
be
can't
up every single
remember.
time that you've got that healing ability.
Rock and roll, yeah, that sounds good. Now, you gotta love a mechanic that you gotta work for, but it's a little forgiving. You know?
Yep.
So Mail of Renewal next on the list, kind of on the similar tree anyway.
Yeah, similar here. I mean, Mail of Renewal, we're happy with how it feels
Reduce
for the
allied
god purchasing
heal time
Mail of
from
Renewal.
10
They
seconds to
get the
5
heal all at
seconds.
once whenever the passive is triggered.
Yeah.
But allies around them, they receive that heal over 10 seconds. And
That's a long time.
in a
long
MOBA like
time.
Smite, that's basically an eternity.
A lifetime, yeah.
So we are just going to cut that time in half. The overall heal is remaining entirely the same.
Exactly.
Got
It's
it.
just getting to
I
you in
wonder
half
if
the time.
more than
So
one
hopefully
god
that'll
in a
make it feel
group
little bit
has that,
consistent.
if the
Makes sense.
heals
So,
compound or
Manticore
they
Spikes
override
next
each
up, one of those
other.
fun new items. Just
Because
get
that'd
some
be
help,
pretty
though.
OP.
Yeah, so this is a fun item, right? So
It
you
is.
can do a lot of CCing, you get to pick up the spikes and do a little bit more damage, and
Yeah.
that damage is based on health. So being able to kind of have a bigger contribution from the item itself is just going to help to also increase that
Yeah,
damage a
feeds
little bit
into
more.
passive.
So a little bit tankier, a little bit more
I haven't
damage.
seen nobody
in
use
turn,
this in a
so
long
just
time,
nice
dude.
little buff
And of
from
course,
Manticore.
Rock
spikes.
and roll.
They were
Mantle of
they
Discord is
were
next on the list.
used for a while.
A little bit of a
Ooh.
decreasing cost.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh, nice.
If you would have told me like a year and a half ago that Mantle is like completely fallen out of the meta, like no one buys it, I would have been like, what has happened?
Yeah, what's going on?
Did,
World
it,
is
did,
falling.
did we remove the stun or did we remove the cleanse? Because if it has both of those, I feel like it's got to be really good.
Yeah.
But we're just seeing that Mantle of Discord's purchase rate is way down and its win rate is
Oh,
also way
that's
down.
'cause they increased the
So
price, that's
it
why
just
nobody
needs
gets
some
them?
help. In
That's
that
one of the main
2,900
reasons I
gold,
never got
this
this
is for
Mantle of
more
Discord is
tanks,
because it was so
than
expensive,
Backline,
man.
hopefully.
29
is just
is-
so
it's
expensive. For
very
supports.
expensive.
2750 still puts in the luxury tier for them for sure.
I like Spirit
but
Robe myself. I
it
think Spirit
is
Robe
such
works a
potent
lot better.
effect that we want to make sure that it isn't too accessible, especially early on in the game.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, another one of those really fun items that like always goes into the fun builds, I think. Relic Dagger plus its glyphs getting a little bit of cooldown reduction.
Yeah, this is actually a huge one, I
It
think,
is.
because
Yep.
being
Increase
able
the
to
relic
get
cooldown
those relics up a little bit
reduction
faster,
from
10
40
seconds faster, is
seconds
not a small
to
amount by
50
any means.
seconds.
And especially how this
Wow.
contributes to Eldritch Dagger as well, to where you'll be able to get that Eldritch passive
Yep.
way more frequently as
Yeah.
well. I mean, this is just such a very
That's kind
fun
of a
buff
big,
for
um,
a fun item
buff
that just
right
have a
there.
little bit trouble slotting in sometimes.
So we're bringing it in there. There's your 10 seconds. Go crazy. Sentinel's Boon is up next. A little bit of increased health and some gold assist, it looks like.
Yeah, the Boon Goons just needed some help.
That's true.
We heard their cry for help.
Never used
we
it.
decided to give it to them. Just
Never
increasing
used
that health
it.
restore in the assist gold. This is the more selfish is the word that comes to mind, but even for supports, you're not really spending that gold selfishly.
Yeah.
But it is the income-focused upgrade, especially in that tree, and we just wanted to make sure that it felt competitive with Sentinel's Embrace, which
Yeah.
is just so strong for its aura
Yeah.
capabilities.
And the thing to consider about this as well is that 20 gold per assist seems insane, right?
A
It
lot.
seems crazy. This is gated by being the lowest gold on your team, though. So the
Yes.
second
Yeah.
that you're not the lowest gold anymore, you're not getting that assist gold
Yeah,
anymore.
not a
So
problem.
It's,
So, yeah.
that's not even a problem to worry about.
You're not
It'll
going to
catch you up, though.
Yes, it will catch you up. It will keep you aligned.
Yes.
I love that I've been doing this show for so many years, and like I feel like every show you hit me with something new. So now Boon Goons is going to be
Yep.
part of my Smite dictionary
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So Silver Branch Bow up next.
Yeah, Silver Branch, I mean, we talked about the magical ADCs being really prevalent.
Wow.
You look at the physical
Increase
ADCs
the
that are
power
seeing play right
conversion
now
from
in the dual
2
lane.
to 3
It's things
physical
like
power,
Anhur,
0.2.
Hachiman, not exactly
Nice.
your stim hunters. And when we think of what stim hunters like
I haven't
more than
used
other
Silver
traditional
Branch in
hunters,
so long, dude.
it's Silver Branch Bow. You know, this is where they can get their payoff for their big
It
attack
would
speed
work
stim in the late
really
game.
good on a
We're just going
high-speed
to
Artemis
lean
build
into
because
its
she has
strength
that buff
on
that gives her even
passive.
more
We've seen in
attack
the past
speed.
when the base stats of this item are too good, everyone just buys it, and it's not really unique for being used for its passive. We want to keep it in line with that identity, but reward those types of characters who can use it well.
You use it on Apollo?
Well,
Apollo makes
I was on the
sense too because he has a
Battleground, I actually
speed
passed
buff too.
Garage sale. Staff of Mirrodin looked like it was on sale for a little cheaper. Is that true?
Himdallr, I don't know. Himdallr's a little
Silver
slow,
Branch,
dude.
but for a different
I guess
class
if you
of
build them a
characters
speed
and
build,
mages,
it would
there are
work.
only some characters that like to play with Mirrodin very well. I can think of a couple
Decrease-
off the top of my head, but
Yes,
those guys are
nice.
just going to get a little bit of help in the way that you could kind of go into this a little bit more easily now. 50 gold off is not insane
Not
because
crazy.
this item has good stats already.
I use that one. I'll
It's just a
take it.
little hard to
100%
justify
extra
going
attack
into.
power
Pretty
from
expensive.
Apollo's
roll,
passive.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
Vision
Any type
Shard
of hunter that
comes
has
up next for those, water
increased attack
enthusiasts.
speed buff,
Yeah, I mean, a
that
lot
works
of
really
support
well.
focus buffs in this patch.
Artemis is one of
this
them
is
for
another
sure.
one. All the shards, they're exciting, immediate effects. It doesn't
hanging out
feel
in front
quite
of my
as
house?
exciting to get vision, but oftentimes it can actually be more valuable
It's
than
game
the
changing.
actual shard that you could have had in that spot. It felt like with the strength of shards as they are, we're happy with how good, all Carapace and Horn Shard and Wing Shard, all of those feel really, really good. We just don't want to bring everything down to Vision Shards level. We just want to bump it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you are a Vision-focused player, the Vision Shard will be a little bit stronger.
A little more of an ally to you. So to round
I'm not gonna
out,
lie, I don't even
item
know what it
buffs,
does,
It looks
dude.
like we're getting some axe love. So
Yes.
starting with Warrior's Axe.
Yes, so Warrior's Axe, the starter, is going
What's up,
to be
starters?
getting increase sustain
Fashionably
from
late?
20 plus 1 to 30 plus 1.5 per level. This is actually a revert from a previous point in time to
Oh,
when it was
wow.
very strong. So
Increased
we're trying
health
to give
and
those
mana
warriors
restored
that
from
would
20
like to
plus
use this axe
1
a
per
little
level
bit
to
better of a
30
time in the
plus
early
1
game,
per
especially
1.5
considering
per
that
level.
sustain aspect, which
Dude,
will
that's a
help them
huge buff
keep
right there, man.
fighting,
Yeah.
keep
That
up
is a
with
huge
that
buff.
attack, and so that's kind of the early game idea for Axe. Going into the late game, though, we've got Axe of Animosity up first, which is the health-focused one. This one's just going to get increased health from 250 to 300, and like
Who
we were
did I
talking
use
about for
this on? I
Manticore
used this-
Spike, because this item
Nice.
does damage based on health, the more health you have,
was
the more
it
damage
Shang
you're doing.
Shang?
So you're getting a little bit of contribution both ways.
I can't
with that.
remember. I used it on one of my tanks and it worked
Finally,
really
Thundering
good.
Axe, this is also going back to a previous value. It's getting more protection scaling from previously 1.5, now back up to 2%, and that's just going to help you do a little bit more of that poke damage, be a little bit more threatening as a late game warrior.
Rock
Achilles,
and roll. Well,
yeah.
all super good, and that does it for the item balance. But we got gods coming
That's
up.
it?
This is the point where I say, remember to check out those patch notes if you want to really follow along and see all these numbers and read it with us.
Wow, that
'cause,
wasn't that many
these are some good
items
changes, and we
that
have
got
a few
jacked
really,
up.
A few really neat
That was
ones
actually
I'm excited for us to get into
not
as we get
bad.
into gods. But first off, we're
But
going to
let's
start
see
with
what
some
they did with
nerfs, and
gods,
we're going
though, right?
straight to Athena. What's up?
Yeah,
with
so Athena has been really, really strong for a little bit
here we
now
go.
at all levels of play.
Increased
She's seen a
attack
lot of
speed
success.
debuff from
But
30%
what she does
to-
is fairly one-dimensional. She just has very good setup CC and a global ultimate. And the other parts of her kit are there, but that isn't where a lot of her power budget, so to speak, is really spent. We don't want to completely remove
What's up, Marcus?
this feature.
Oh, man, that
the
sucks.
attack speed debuff
Right?
from Confound. We feel like that is a big feels good for Athena. That
Ah,
as good as
really?
Confound is, and as good as it seems right now, there were years recently where it felt like this ability had fallen off in its usefulness.
What's
So
up, Tuk Tuk?
We still want for her to maintain some
Hey.
amount of agency in surviving a little bit easier when she uses Confound, but we just want her to earn it through the ranks. So instead of just starting at 30% and remaining 30% throughout the game, it will now
they don't
be a
want to
little
jack
bit
with the server, so
easier
they're making
to
too big of
damage her when
changes.
she
Makes
taunts you
sense.
in the early game,
Tell you what,
scaling that Confound
this
up to
last week in the
30%
servers
when she
running
taunts
like crap.
Makes
Let me
sense.
tell you.
Logical change. Cool. So next up, a little creepier, Baba Yaga. Looks like the cabin and the brew both getting adjusted a little.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it better be a
for Baba,
buff.
it's very interesting because you would
What?
think there's a lot of really
Oh.
cool stacking item opportunities for Baba to go
Yeah.
in
Increase
the
the
actual
stacks
like
from 400 to 500.
mage-oriented tabs. We're not seeing that. We're seeing some thieves, we're seeing some prophetic cloaks, and in general, it's
They're
not that we
picking
want
on
to
her, yeah.
discourage her from stacking, but we wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that
that
if
axe
she is
revert
stacking
is
these
huge.
items, she's
That
going
axe
about
buff
it
is
a
huge.
little bit more organically
Yeah.
to make sure that she is actually going through the
Yeah,
motions. So
there's
she
been
is
a
going
lot
to
of
get
DCs lately, for
basically
sure.
in her passive, she gets stacks from moving her house
Hell,
around.
just in our last stream,
from
we had
doing
crazy
all those
DCs.
things, and so she needs more stacks now on her house to be able to convert those into actual item stacks. So just a little bit harder to stack up items now.
Dude,
and
hardly nobody plays Baba Yaga in Arena,
items,
which
it's
blows
kind
my
of
mind because she's a
surprising
very
how much
strong
damage
god.
she's actually doing with her abilities. So we wanted to target one of her kind of earlier abilities.
Hell, I can't remember the last time I played against a Baba Yaga.
By putting one in your pocket and then pulling
Maybe
out
I
the
think
other one
once
and hanging
this
on to
last
it for when you
stream,
need it.
if I remember
So
correctly.
we're just bringing that base damage down a little bit across the board, and that's going to help take down her clear and just her late game ability to be tanky and do damage all at the same time.
Got it. Hey, I'm all for it. So I mean, and what a crazy passive too. It's one that I feel like I always forget exists, and then you start playing, and you're like, man, this is great. So
Yeah, Baba Yaga is strong in Arena, dude.
So
her
next up, 100 that I feel like
combos
got a
are
lot of play
nasty.
recently. Chernobog.
Yeah, you'd be right. He has gotten a lot of play recently, and he's won a lot of those.
Decreased
of those
base
games.
damage and explosive 24.
Yeah, we are hitting Chernobog pretty hard here. He's proven to be pretty nerf resistant after his spicy changes. And so we're hitting him in a couple places. Number one, Heart of Cold. This is his passive. It deals 20% of your basic attack damage as bonus damage to that target
Yeah, she's
and an
definitely
AoE around them.
strong and safe for sure.
We're decreasing that by 5% down to 15%. And that's really important in particular because when he uses his ultimate, he gets that explosion really quickly. It doesn't need that 3-stack sort of build up. So this is going to make his ultimate a little bit less potent offensively. We are increasing the cooldown of Crystallized Curses. That's his 1. It was going down by 1 second per rank, and this is an ability that you're maxing first.
We're
instead going to make that 0.5 seconds per
Yeah, I wouldn't
rank.
be
So now
surprised
instead
if
of
that's exactly what they're
dropping
doing.
out at 11 seconds, it's
Nerfing
now
the
13
SPL
seconds
favorites.
when that's maxed, which should be pretty impactful. And then the cooldown on Vicious Barrage. We like the direction that he's gone with this lower cooldown stim. It's so important to his kit. It's the catalyst for the AO1. But it was up a little bit. Just too often. So 7 to 8 seconds on that cooldown.
Especially with things like Fail Not being kind of in his wheelhouse.
Yes.
Well, getting that cooldown online really helped him out a lot.
Yes, it did. Yeah, he was abusing that a little bit too well.
Well, good to hear. So this next change, less words, but still pretty spicy looking. Maman Brigitte, one of our newest members.
We knew she was going to get freaking
You know
nerfed,
about
dude.
Maman? All right.
I know a thing or two about Maman. Yeah, we've
Removed
there's
knock-up
obviously been a
immunity.
lot of discussion. I read every single Reddit thread about Maman that comes out, and I definitely don't take anything personally ever. No, there's just been a lot of discussion. She is a character that is very polarizing. All damage-oriented characters are inherently polarizing.
But you notice that there's a
they
lot
just
less
hit a
people
point where
playing
they
her.
either do enough
A
to kill
lot
you,
less people playing her.
and they're really good.
And it's like
or they
every
don't do
new
enough to
god,
kill
right? They
you,
just
and
get that
because
once
they
the new
have
car
next to no
smell wears
utility,
out.
They are basically
But the ones that are dupe player,
so
dude,
we
a lot of them are
want to
very
be
strong
careful
with her.
about how much damage we remove from Maman at a time.
She's a
and
pain.
Looking at her stats, looking at the way that she's performing at all levels, we feel like we can still wait a little bit to see how her damage is kind of transforming as players do get better at playing against her. Players are also improving playing at her, and a big place we're seeing that is in the knock-up immunity on Party Trick. It is really, really quick to come out.
Oh, she's a
You
lot
don't have
easier.
to
To me,
spend
she's a
an
lot easier
extremely
than
long
on Quam
cooldown to
for
do it.
sure.
You can use it for knock-up immunity.
But she
instantly
is
cancel
in
it.
that
Use it for knock-up
wheelhouse
immunity,
because she's
instantly
more.
cancel it. That proved
She's
to
not as
remove too
AOE,
much
like I
counterplay
say,
from
as
her.
basic attack
So we
oriented
are
as
just
she
gonna
is
straight up
special
remove the
attack.
knock-up immunity
Whereas
from Party Trick
freaking
entirely.
a Kwong,
It
dude.
will put it back at you won't.
gotta be a point-blank range.
Lose the cooldown. You won't initiate your slam if you're knocked up mid-fire breath. It will just cancel it out.
But yeah, she could be very
but it's
difficult,
another
especially in Arena with all the
opportunity
chain
to see
CC, dude.
her, and we didn't want to give her. She has a lot of survivability tools already with a CC immune ultimate and a dash that it turns out people think is pretty good.
What's
so
up,
we wanted to
Olivia?
just remove one of those immunities.
You didn't
from
miss
her
too
so
much.
people can have. A little bit
Although
of easier time against her.
That's definitely one of those skill
Afro
ceiling
got
type
hit,
things. Like you release
but
it
not
first
really
couple
hard.
patches, not really a problem, right? But then people are starting to learn like how to flick that for the immunity. It's cool to watch people learn, but then you're like, oh wow, that's really strong when you get your hands on it. So
yeah, it was just one of the most requested changes that we saw in a lot of her threads. So we're happy to provide the community with a little bit of more opportunity to play against her, and hopefully this will reduce some frustration.
Got it.
said-
So we have one more nerf remaining in the god sections here, and that's Raijin. Got some drumming.
Yes. So Raijin got a spicy buff at a time where a lot of cooldown things happened all at once, and You know, he likes the cooldown. That's like his whole thing, is that he's got a passive that refreshes cooldown. He got the new addition to his passive that also increases cooldown even more. So we're kind of shifting cooldown. You'll see that theme is the whole deal here with Mr. Raijin. So he was like
Dude, hardly nobody plays that dude anymore.
Mage solo contender. Where
I mean, he's like
in solo
a novelty now in
mid,
arena.
and a lot of that has to do with, again, the cooldown buff, breastplate being so good, all of these things kind of compounded, but we are also going to hit him because he was just overperforming in mid as well. So everywhere across the
in
board.
arena you hardly see this guy, but when you do see him, he is a pain in the butt to play against, dude.
Specific cooldown reduction that we're talking about here is when he does the 4 stacks of
that
passive,
freaking taunt he has gets on my
ability,
nerves.
Then it's only going down 1.5 seconds instead of the 2 seconds that it previously was. Next up, we've got Percussive Storm. This is his main clear ability, and this is on a flat 10-second cooldown that was also getting reduced by the basics, getting reduced by the passive, getting reduced by Blue Totem, all of this stuff. We've been through this, but essentially, going up 2 seconds. So that may seem like a lot, but again, he's got a lot of ways to refresh this cooldown. So
dude,
even
2
though
seconds
this may
is
look like
a
a big nerf,
lot, dude.
it
2
has to be
seconds is a
contributed
lifetime.
through all of those different factors that we're talking about. Last thing, Thunder Crash. This is his movement ability. The cooldown is going up from 15 to 17, down to 15 again.
Yeah.
So basically what this is going to do is make him a little bit more punishable in the early to the mid game. You're probably going to be leveling this one up last. So this is kind of your last couple levels.
It starts
we'll
at
be going back to that
17.
15 seconds, but until that point, that is 2 more seconds minus a
Dude,
little bit here and there when you've got
17
levels
early
in it to
game
be able to
is a
punish
lifetime because
Raijin.
you got to remember none of your
getting out of position,
cooldown
going a little
is
too crazy
online
on
at
the
that time.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, he
10%
went from
cooldown,
completely
maybe
unplayable in
20% if you get the blue buff. You know what I'm saying? So 17%, 17 is 17 seconds is a lifetime, son.
We didn't give him
That's
very
worse
much
than
damage,
Cerberus.
and the damage that we did give him, we already nerfed. He's not doing significantly more damage than before per ability cast. He's just casting more often than he was before. So this is probably some of the heaviest cooldown focused nerfs a character has ever gotten.
Yeah,
all at
17
once.
seconds is insane,
Hopefully
son.
this will
That's
make a big dent
craziness.
in Raijin's
It certainly should.
Yes, we expect it will.
Slow down that drum solo a little.
This is
cool. That does
craziness.
it for God nerfs this time around. So just gonna highlight this. Obviously, we love doing these. Or we love getting these out to the community because we listen to what y'all are saying. We listen to y'all say, hey, this is really strong. Maybe back it off a little. Or maybe she doesn't need knock up immunity when she's spitting fire. So, like, continue to give us this feedback, please. I'll say this every time because I love being in these conversations with y'all, even if it's not me, even if you're reaching out to somebody else or whatever. Just always throw these recommendations at us because it helps us find ways to make the game more fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while, dude. I see him like every now and then in arena. I don't know about Conquest.
Y'all are awesome. I love you. So let's get into some buffs now, huh? Let's talk about
here we
which
go.
gods are
Buffs.
getting
Let's go.
stronger.
Who's
Starting
getting
with,
buffs?
One of the beeziest boys.
I
one of
think
my
Nox
favorite
and Zeus
beezy
should
boys.
get buffed.
Amu's and Kyle.
I think Kukulkan should get buffed.
AMC has really been absent from the meta for a longer period of time than is typical for him. We didn't want to increase
Who the hell
his
cares about
clear
projectile
potential or
speed?
his poke
Seriously?
potential because those are really good. His
Give it more
all-in is also
damage.
really good. But we were just taking a look at some abilities, and Swarm feels really quick because it's so big.
Yeah.
But when we looked at the actual projectile speed, it was really slow.
It was one of the slowest in the game.
Comically slow.
Crazy.
And it doesn't feel that way, but it does translate into not hitting nearly as many of those swarms as you think you should be able to. So we are simply increasing its projectile
I mean, I'll take
speed
it. I like
by
AMC. I'll
33%.
take it.
That may sound like it's going to
Don't
be
get
an
me wrong,
instant
I'll take
auto
it.
hit all the time. It is not. It is.
not.
You should notice a difference. You should not be getting hit by max range swarms that you see coming.
It is not unjukable. I would say it's even slower than things like Apollo 1 still.
Significantly slower.
But it's just a little bit more consistency there because we really did not want to give him more damage or utility. We just wanted consistency over anything else.
Yep.
Rock and roll. I love that y'all gave this really eloquent explanation, but in my head, the only thing I could think of is they gave him faster bees.
Bees fast.
So cool. So next up, God near and dear to my heart, Atlas, the big boy, getting some love.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Atlas
so
is getting
Atlas
buffed.
Is a very
What?
interesting case because a lot of times
Increased
he
physical
seems like
protections
he's
per
really
level
good,
from
but the
3.5.
stats say
Oh,
he's not
come
good.
on,
So
dude.
Thanks to
0.2.
our
What the? Who
absolute
the hell is gonna
goat,
feel 0.2?
Max or Innocent Rabbit,
Rabbit.
as the community
Per
may know him
level,
as.
I guess.
We got a lot of detailed information as to why these characters are
Come
not performing
on,
as
come
they
on.
should be, or perhaps why they're underperforming
Get
in
us
some
all
ways. And so
happy.
the data that we were looking at Atlas, through a bunch of various slices, was that essentially boiled down to a very simple reason why is that he's dying a lot.
Okay.
We're like, okay, so how can we help him not die as much?
Yeah.
More
I know, right?
More deaths on average than many other Guardians in his class.
0.2, dude.
So
0.2,
essentially what we
come
are
on.
doing is to increase his physical
Yeah, late
protection
game.
per level in his just general
I mean,
existence, his
Yeah.
character,
His level.
more or less. From 3.5 to 3.7, so it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's every single level you're getting that, so it's going to add up over time. And then we are adjusting Gamma Ray Burst, which is his ultimate, and that is increasing the power reduction per stack from 2% to 3%. So whenever you
How many
put
levels
down
are there?
that
20, right?
beam on enemies, it's going to make them
So
deal less damage
at
to you
max
and
level, you'll
essentially
get
all of your other teammates as well.
0.4
So that's going to be keeping you alive a little bit
increase
as well,
on
'cause
that.
they're not
That's a
gonna be able to eat you as
0.4, not
much,
even
so
half.
you'll have to see that.
0.4
Shout out to the
increase
goat
at
and
max
Rabbit.
level.
Gotta love
That's
those
our goat.
numbers.
Yep.
So moving on to Shock, one of the classics here.
Yeah, classic indeed. Speaking of Max and some of the numbers we were diving in for Chalk, he just wasn't keeping up in damage in the later stages of the game. So that's why his landing phase is going well. His survivability is good. He just isn't providing enough threat in the later stages. So we're just giving him some more threat. 5% scaling on Thunderstrike, so that's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, not even 0.2, 0.02.
On Torrent.
It was 0.02, not 0.2. 0.2 would have been big.
When I'm playing Chalk Mid, which I will be playing, in a game
It only
near
gives you
very soon.
0.4 after you add up
But even on
0.02
Chalk
times
Solo,
20.
I think Torrent is actually the right ability to max now. With this 40 base damage at rank 5 is a lot.
That's a lot. A lot of damage.
And gives him a lot of prots, fairly low
base
cooldown.
damage.
This ability is really, really good.
Dude,
so
that's
Chalk's a damage character.
a lot of damage
yeah.
late game, dude.
Chalk-
40
Chalk is a
more
pretty good
damage
tank
late game.
and
That's
be fine.
huge.
But
That's
you could also
nothing to
play him
sneeze
mid
at.
full damage in Slam. That's my recommendation.
You heard it from
Yeah.
the devs here first. So
A
get-
dev
40 more,
singular,
because
dev
you gotta
one
remember,
dev.
40 more
Larry
damage
is
and then it
not
gets
a Chalk
magnified,
Mid
right?
fan as I am.
you heard it from a single dev while the other dev was
shout out
leaning away
F-Dog.
and covering her face. So cool. Next up, the god that always makes me sweat because I know I never pronounced the name correctly, Cucullin.
Yeah, so
nailed it.
Cucullin. You did it, yeah.
Practice.
So
Dude, I
Cucullin
hate
has
Cucullin.
not really had
He's
his time to
such a
shine
pain.
this year one bit.
He's such a
He's
pain.
been
Once he
out of
goes
the meta,
into
even when
beast
Bluestone
mode,
was
he
really
is such a
good. That
pain,
tends to be
dude.
when we see him a lot. And of course, he's probably not going to be there when Mage Solos
Yeah.
are very good either.
There's a couple of our
Even though
Reapers
he's
that
got
play
a pretty
Chalk.
decent early game, it just wasn't enough to contend with those. So alongside our warrior item buffs, we're also going to be giving Cucullin a buff because, again, he needs it since he wasn't even here when warriors were the strongest.
Yep.
So now he's getting a little
Yeah,
bit of extra
Cucullin's
damage
such a
on Ben
freaking
Anger, so
pain to
this is
play
both
against, dude.
in his de-transformed and his transformed state, just going to be doing a little bit more damage. Not at rank 1, though. Very important because, again, that's like kind of his breaking point a little bit that you might say is like when he gets that transform off too early in lane and he's just able to get all this free event anger damage, you know, that can be a little bit dangerous in that lane.
Yep.
So getting it when you start to rank it up to give him a little bit more of that late game threat that we were talking about for Chalk,
Yep.
that's kind of it. And then this is the spicy one. This is the very important one that you're going to want to look out for in your games, is that Spear of Mortal Pain. And this is only Sphere of Mortal Pain, by the way, not Warcry, not when you're
Yep.
transformed.
Yeah, I can't play him really
This
good.
cooldown is getting decreased from 100 seconds at all ranks to 100 to 80 seconds.
Yeah.
So a lot more threat in the late game like we were
Cooldown
talking about. Cucullin
decrease
generally this
20
very, very solid laning
seconds late
character that
game.
falls off a lot in the late game.
Yeah.
Now you're going to at
That's,
least have more
that's a
chances
significant
to get into
buff
this
right there.
transform state,
20
provide
seconds
a
is a
really, really
lifetime,
good
dude.
team fight ultimate on top of it. Going to see him a little bit more. I sure hope so after this.
Yeah. Really relies on that ultimate to generate enough rage to transform
Yeah.
in the late game. It's a strong ult, but one that's pretty telegraphed, pretty slow.
It can
lots
ult
of
even
ways
more.
to emit
Yeah,
it.
that's
not Mamane 01
20
anymore.
seconds is a good
but
chunk,
lots of other
dude.
ways. So we feel like we can give him more spears of mortal pain because there's lots of mortal pain.
And again, not Warcry.
Not Warcry.
Not Warcry.
No,
Just in the most metal-sounding way ever, more spears of mortal pain.
that's right.
So next up, a less metal and much more cuddly, but like incredibly enjoyable god, Danza Burrow. I love Danza.
Yeah, Danza. Wow, we
Danza.
went spicier than this than I remembered. That was I was like, wow, I just remembered what we did here.
They're buffing
the base
him?
damage on the 2 10 at all ranks because that ability doesn't hit that hard. Cool. We're not that excited about that. Well, we are, but we aren't. Tanuki Trickery. This is his 3. You know where he does the dance. He's got his zone of
Guarded.
empowerment,
Yeah,
right?
Tanuki.
His little guard.
Damage mitigation.
ADC mains will
ability.
tell you this ability is super good because it is really hard to trade against him
From
when
just
he's in
to
that
all
zone
damage,
in particular because it
decreased
was
damage mitigation
a ton
from
of
20.
basic attack damage
So he gets
mitigation,
15%
and
damage
he gets
mitigation
haste,
when
you know,
he's in his little
that zone.
AoE. Dude, that is
Absolute beast when he's
huge.
trading in there. For me, as a more mage player, I see him pop the 3 and I'm like, oh, he's faster. And that's all I don't really care about it
Oh
otherwise.
no.
So they crush the
AoE.
whole circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Poseidon
I-
will the whole circle.
Yes, here's a Kraken in your
Yeah,
garden.
surrounded with a Zeus ult. There you go.
Right, exactly. So we are changing it from basic attack damage mitigation to just damage mitigation.
All damage.
Dude,
when he's in there.
You drop that.
We are reducing
You
it
get
from 20% to
Ares
15%.
ulted. Drop that under the Ares.
Because now you're getting so many more things mitigated. But we wanted this to feel like a more empowered empowerment zone.
You get Daji ulted. Throw
for
that under the
Danzaburg.
freaking
So
totem pole.
I'm interested to see what this does.
That's gonna be
for our
interesting,
little
dude.
team.
That's pretty strong. That's
I've
definitely
got a
really
feeling he
strong.
might.
Yeah, that's a great change. Cool. So next,
You
up,
hope this hope you
is another
survive
one
playing
that's kinda
Danza?
spicy. We have
Danza?
Fenrir.
Yeah, a little bit.
And one of these involves something that we will show you. So keep your eyes on the screen.
Yes.
So let's dive into Fenrir.
Yeah, so before we actually get to that one in particular, we got to talk about Unchained.
One more.
This is the leap for Fenrir. And so Fenrir had a little bit of his time to shine at the beginning of the year, but he's fallen off quite a lot since the changes in the jungle meta. So essentially, this is, again, another consistency pass. We want to give him more chances to stun, more chances to be a little bit safer, engage with Unchained or disengage, whichever side it might be, and then brutalize. This is the important one that we're talking about here. So we have a very good video here to show you guys as well, but what's happening to brutalize is that the actual channel time of brutalize is going down, which means you'll be striking a little bit faster every single time. And you can see on the left, that is old brutalize from the current patch that is live in Smite right now, and on the right is the new brutalize that you'll be seeing in 10.12. So a little bit faster, but not outrageously so. You can see towards the end there that you're getting those couple
We're
of extra
talking
strikes
like
back at the end.
milliseconds.
But the other thing to consider here is you're probably thinking, oh my god, more damage faster, but you can also Aegis this. And
Yes.
more likely get everything off with that Aegis. So keep that in mind. It's a give and a take where certain
Whatever.
effects may, be able to immune it or
We're talking
damage mitigate it or
milliseconds,
whatever. It
dude.
might be a little bit easier, but also just all of those other instances where that's not happening, you're a little bit more consistent, a little bit less time locked out.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
Aegis
he's
lasts
definitely one of
1.5
my favorite
seconds.
assassins,
If you
too.
Aegis perfectly when he latched onto you on the old one, you could still Aegis the entire duration. You can Aegis the entire duration here if you do it early. So that counterplay hasn't necessarily changed a whole lot from the Fenrir side. We just felt, this ability is so good early, so impossible to use late. We've given this ability a million different things to make it be more castable in the later stages. But at the end of the day, it just took too long. So we did a little experimentation, went under the hood, and we're able to make it work. We've just shaved off. It's basically 0.05 seconds for each strike after the first.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking milliseconds,
that's why it
dude.
goes
It's
from
like,
1.5
whatever.
total down to 1.35. It may not look super crazy when you're watching it in this GIF form, even though it is quite obvious. When you,
people were
for me, it
aging
was
the
like
last
the
one because you got to
sound.
think
When I
about it.
heard
They don't
how
pop
much
their
faster
ages
the
until they
sound was
get hit
happening,
once,
I
because
was
then
like,
that's to
yo,
realize
I'm
they're getting hit,
like
right?
Sonic
So
the
as soon as they get
Hedgehog,
hit
like,
once, that's
I'm
usually
so
when
fast.
they hit it. Their ages
So
by that time.
I'm excited to
it'll
see
last long enough to do the whole
how
thing
our
anyway.
Fenrir
So it's like
players,
whatever. Maybe you get 2 hits
embrace or,
before he pops
have
it.
feedback for this brutalized
I
change.
doubt it.
Yeah, cool. So we'll have another spicy change like that coming in the pipeline a little later.
Yeah.
But we're going to move now to Hu Yi.
Yes.
Yeah, Ho Yi just needs a little bit of help as a premier duelist in the duo lane. He is like I want to solo the enemy ADC character, but Ricochet just isn't quite dealing enough damage. We don't want it to instantly clear the wave when you max it, because if he can clear and duel that well, it's going to become problematic.
And
but
the jungle,
and the
jungle
jungle.
bounces.
Yes,
There's a lot of
exactly.
things.
Yes, yeah. So that's a good thing to mention, is that 5% scaling on Ricochet
Yeah,
gives
I
a lot
bet
of
you.
value when you're hitting it 2 or 3 times on a jungle kill.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
That will matter
Hoyi's
quite a bit.
Ricochet, it's very
and then
difficult
his
to
kit
use
is
in
just
arena,
so
man.
focused around access to Mark of the Golden Crow. We don't want to give it to him too often in the late game, because he's really, really good at killing tanks that he has marked.
Yeah.
But we want to give it to him a little bit more often in the early stages of the game, which is where he tends to
Wow,
struggle the
2
most.
Got
second
it. All good
cooldown
changes.
decrease
So,
early game.
Nemesis
That's
is
huge,
next on the
dude.
list
That
for
is definitely
little
huge.
change.
Yeah, so Nemesis is another character that kind of has been here or there across the battleground throughout the year and throughout even like the past couple of years. She's
They-
had
they
her mini metas and
decreased the
has
cooldown
quickly
on her
gotten
nitros.
ulted out of them. So
Yep.
one thing that we've learned from all of those metas is that ultimate is crazy. So
Dude,
once they
11
ultimate changes
seconds
here,
late game. I might have
it's
to try
mostly
out
going to be around her safety
Nemesis again.
and
I used
her
to
ability
be
to
decent with
clear and still
Nemesis
poke
when
in
I
the
was
late game.
first
That's
started
one
playing
thing that
game.
Nemesis does really well. She can kind of be this like nice middle ground between auto attack assassin or just regular power assassin. She kind of sits somewhere in the middle where she can do a little bit of both.
Yep.
We wanted to kind of acknowledge both of those styles and kind of fit a buff in a place
man.
that would help both of them.
Yep.
So Swift Vengeance, the first one, this is kind of addressing her safety. This is going from 14 seconds at all ranks to 13 down to 11. And essentially, this is to give her a little bit more of that ability to go in and out if she needs to, because most of the time that you're using this, you're not really going to get it up again by the time that you need it, really.
Right.
So that's kind of the biggest thing, is that this will at least be there for you if you do need it coming up after you try and engage a fight, because once that ultimate wears off, you're kind of a little bit SOL sometimes.
Yep.
A little bit.
So this should be there for you again when the time arises. But the next thing that's a little bit important as well to talk about is Slice and Dice, which is getting a little bit of base damage and a little bit of scaling as well. And so the important thing to acknowledge is that this may look like a small change here, but it's also doubled in the center of the cone.
Yep.
So the changes that you're seeing here are effectively 2 times as much if you're hitting it accurately in the middle.
Dude, you're going to see a lot more Nemesis in Arena. I can tell you that right now.
So for this next one, I hope you brought some sunscreen, because my bird bro Ra getting a little love.
Yeah, days are getting shorter. He's not
Yeah,
happy with that.
yeah, we need some help. We all need some more Ra. That's right, man. It is crazy. Divine Light just getting a little bit of a scaling damage buff. This is an ability that takes a long time to go off.
Yeah.
Really more utility based.
Yeah, Nemesis can be very strong.
Players,
very strong if
like
you know
myself,
how to play her.
Very excited to see a little bit of extra scaling there. And then Solar Blessing, one of those abilities that received a lot of changes with the healing changes.
A little bit of love for Ra.
Pretty close to what we want it to be doing, and we don't want to necessarily give him more healing, because that's always a danger zone. But getting Solar Blessing a little bit more often, reducing that cooldown from 16 to 15 just to make it feel a little bit better.
Gosh, just use it offensively. That's all that matters. Just
Yep.
Offensive Solar Blessing.
Yep.
Drop it on the wave. So Shiva next up, getting a change.
Yes. So Shiva's another very interesting character, because again, he has never really found himself in the center of a meta. He's been there occasionally as a bit of a fringe pick, but we never really seen him kind of show up consistently. And so we want to make sure that we're also acknowledging the parts of the player base that do see him quite a lot, and that is tending to be true, that he is very strong towards the lower end of things.
Yes.
We were very specifically looking for a buff in the higher end of things.
Shiva does not need to be buffed at all. He's already too strong, dude. He's a pain in the butt.
Super well, and so Pillar of Dawn is kind of the ability for that, where you can just use it as a regular dash, or you can kind of be this kind of beacon of strength for your team, where you can sit there, and yes, you're standing completely still, but you're also giving out effects or dealing
10%
effects out
too,
to enemies.
10% is a lot.
So when you're just sitting there hanging out, doing however long you want to do those effects for, you'll be getting extra damage mitigation there, so you're not just dying if you're sitting still. You're going to be
he never
kind of
dies, dude.
able to tank a little bit more as well.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing like some tactful sitting still.
And we're not talking about
so
protections,
Tsukuyomi's
10% more protections. We're talking about
we removed knockup
mitigation.
immunity from one.
That's like
mage
raw
assassin,
damage, dude.
in Maman. We are giving knockup immunity back to Tsukuyomi on Kusarigama. And before everyone starts panicking.
Another guy that doesn't need to be buffed. What the hell,
scene where,
dude?
like, everyone just runs across town.
Seriously.
There's fire everywhere.
Yeah.
Tsukuyomi had one of the strongest releases we've ever seen in Smite. Unbelievably powerful
Unbelievably strong.
on release.
The War Flag
this was
Shiva
one of
boys.
the first nerfs. This was a nerf in one of his first balance passes afterwards, where they removed the knockup immunity from Kusarigama. He also received roughly 100,000 damage nerfs,
Roughly.
give or take.
pretty close.
Max would have to give me the margin for error for that, but
Yeah, it's like 103. But
a ton of different damage nerfs over the years. This ability is just not nearly as strong as it was when it was, the players playing at that time, remember maxing Kusarigama, and you would just one-tap someone coming out of the jungle at like level 9.
Yeah.
Schlap.
I
It
do
was great
remember
on the
that.
Tsukuyomi side. Not so great on the other side. We feel like Tsukuyomi really struggles. He's an assassin with a really unique identity that wants to keep the fight at a range before he picks his moment to go in. He really struggles when the fight is not started on his terms. When someone engages onto him, he has very few tools for survivability. You compare this to someone like Maman, who just lost knockup immunity. He doesn't have survivability anywhere near as good as Spirit sees. So we feel like we can safely add this back. We didn't want to necessarily give him damage because, again,
they took it from one and gave it to the other.
Damage-oriented characters with low utility.
Yeah.
It's just when our damage gets to
He doesn't
okay,
have
I
no
can kill,
escape. All he could do is
they
throw those
instantly
spikes
become
down and
very,
hope
very
that he
good.
slows somebody down so he can run for
We're
it.
wary about that, but we feel like he could use this safety again, and Kusarigama is not immediately going to be nearly as good as it was when it last had
Certainly
knockup.
not.
Cool. I'll play more carefully now, but I definitely agree. I think it'll be a good addition back. So Vulcan, who is like first worlds I ever watched, every memory I can think of,
he say Vulcan?
Is here to rock and roll. So what's happening?
Yeah, so Vulcan, I feel like I need like a little buzzer that says like data alert,
Increase
data alert. So this one
increase
specifically
the
is a bit of an
damage on his
interesting case, 'cause,
turret?
Again, we were like, why is Vulcan not
Nice.
like, what
Oh, heck yeah.
And so again, checking out those slices, finding different places for us to look
Increase
at
the
and compare.
base damage
Essentially, the
by
problem with
freaking
Vulcan was
20
his
late game,
damage was
dude.
falling off a lot. And you may think, well, he
The
has 4
20
damage
late
capabilities. What's
game,
really
nice.
The problem essentially
That's
is that
ultimate nice.
First up, Inferno Cannon just kind of doesn't scale very well. It's a solid ability in the early game, and even in the mid game, it does a lot of really solid work for you. But when it gets to the late game, it kind of just dies in one hit. So essentially, you're getting 1 pop from this bad boy if you're lucky, maybe 2.
Dude, imagine that
so
with the builds that we use from that's almost max pin. Dude, that's going to be a lot extra damage. The cannon already hits for 200 and some change by itself.
The majority of the game, it's still going to be doing
that's a
that
good
same
buff
base level
right there,
damage.
dude.
It's just the later game that's going a bit more.
Yep.
Where you need
the
it,
second
right?
thing to talk about here is Earthshaker, the ultimate. This ability has a very low cooldown, but the problem is the hit rate on this
Increase minimum
ability
damage.
not very high.
Lower than the cooldown.
Not very
The
high.
minimum damage.
It can.
So now
essentially,
you
the
can
easiest
cast
way
it
to
right
hit
at your
this, so you're
feet
like,
and do
okay,
80% of your
worst case
damage.
scenario, I'm
That
dropping
is
this on my
huge,
feet.
dude.
But the thing with Vulcanol is that when you drop it on your feet, it does less damage.
Yep.
So we want to kind of bump that up a little bit, so you're not as
Wow,
punished for
that's
going for the
Vulcan
easy
got some
confirm
love,
ultimate
man.
at your
Vulcan
feet.
got some
You
really
still get
nice
that
love.
really big reward of the bonus when you go all the way out, and you're getting that really sick snipe on Fire Giant, Gold Fury, under a tower of Phoenix, whatever that might be. But in those situations where you're kind of just like stuck, you're getting dove on. It's not the end of the world for the Vulcan player.
That's a
Just
huge
drop it at
buff,
your feet.
dude.
Rock and roll. Hey,
So you
that
can
was
like
a fun
cast it
achievement.
right
That
in
was a
front
hard
of you now and do
achievement to get.
80% of the
Max range
damage.
ult. Yeah, that was a lot of grinding.
And
but,
and that
felt
thing
good,
can
you know?
do
You hit it at
almost
the
like
distance, you see
15,
it pop, and you're
1600
like,
points of
yes.
damage, dude.
Yep.
I'm so happy I fed the last 4 games for
It
this.
used to be able to do over
Whoever was in
2,000 before the nerfs.
So one last change on the gods list here, and we have Ymir. And
Yeah.
this one also has a fun little video we'll get to share with y'all.
Yeah, so Ymir, a lot of strengths. One really big weakness, which is that he's a big
Vulcan,
boy
he
who
doesn't have
stands
much
still.
of an escape,
For
so
a
we
lot
needed
of escape.
something.
He stands still when he casts his 2, stands still when he casts his 3, stands still when he casts his 4. The 3 and 4 have very strong CCs.
Yeah, this
kinda
is what
compensate
kills
for
me
that,
with
but
the
the
Ymir,
2
dude. That having to
It's
stop.
really just a clear ability, or you've stunned them and now you can actually hit it.
Yeah.
What we've done is we've reduced the pre-fire time from 0.45 seconds to 0.35 seconds. So now this ability, the shards still, or the carpet still goes out.
Yeah.
0.01,
the
dude.
shards
Some people's
exploding up out
freaking
of the ice
monitors
carpet
refresh
now
rate. It's not
happen
even fast enough to
0.1
even see the
seconds
difference,
faster,
dude.
Which again doesn't feel like a ton, but
Oh,
will
man.
absolutely make this a more consistent ability to hit on someone who isn't already stunned, who is moving around, has beads, whatever it may be.
Who
And
knows, man?
hopefully
We'll have
this
to try it
ability
out. Maybe it will make a
can
difference.
Be more than just guaranteed follow-up off of your own stun or wave clear, and can be an actual ability that you can use to try and hit someone.
just toss out.
People are
And
killing me with the
other important thing to talk about
milliseconds.
here is that, like, Ymir, when he's using this ability, is obviously rooted, right? But that pre-fire going down means you're rooted for just a little bit less.
Yep.
And even that just a little
They
bit.
ran out of ideas for
so
buffs.
nice.
Yeah, I
It
know,
makes it
right?
feel way smoother.
Those good
And
idea
you're
fairies in the
taking
boardroom were
learning.
like, let's try
1 second,
this.
Is that really that much?
We'll just make it look like we're
I'm
doing
telling you,
something, but
it
we're not
feels like
really
a new
doing
dude. It feels like a
nothing.
new
They'll
character to
never
play.
see
Whole new
this.
dude, huh? Well, super
They'll
cool.
never
yeah.
see
And,
this
I mean, like
change.
you said, it's all these small numbers in a MOBA, right? It's 1%, it's 0.1 second, it's all this crazy stuff. But when you get your hands on it, right? Mathematically, it sounds, you're like, okay, that doesn't sound like a lot. But you
Doesn't
get your
look that
hands on
different,
it, it's
But it
crazy.
feels
It feels
That's
a
what
lot
I'm going to
different.
say. We're going to have to try
but
it out and see
obviously,
how it
we'll leave that up
feels.
to y'all. Y'all be getting in and
We'll
figuring
see.
it out with PTS and with the update next week. So that does it for the balance, which that was a lot of good stuff, some cool spicy stuff. Again, if you missed any of it or feel like you need to go back, check out the update notes. It has everything listed, all the numbers and stuff, all that spicy stuff. But we have one more thing to talk about before we call this show to an end, and that is a new battle pass coming with the Season of Worlds.
Here we
And
go.
like most things
Here
in
we
Season
go.
of Worlds, it is
What's the
themed
theme?
For the Worlds. It is Battle Pass World Champions. So the World Champions Battle Pass is an all-new Battle Pass, and it's huge. It has a lot of skins. It has 10 skins in total. 2 brand new ones, or more like 6 brand new ones actually, and some that you know and love. But we want to give you the
Freaking
chance to get
pugs,
back as we
man.
approach Worlds. So the way it works is you're going to be able to get a skin for every single team. So all of your favorite SPL teams are getting their skins. You're ready to throw them on the battleground, rep them, get excited. And the way that this battle pass works is as you work through it, you will be earning chest rolls. All of these skins are in the, I'm going to make sure I say the chest name right. It's written here somewhere, and I don't know how to read. So they're in the chest. I think it's the world chest. Or
Dude,
the
nobody
esports
gives
chest.
a crap
And
about
you
no
will be
SPL
earning
teams.
rolls as you progress through the battle pass to pick out of this chest which skin you want. The chest, it's not like rolling the random chest. You get to pick. So if you only get 4 of the rolls through the battle pass because you have a busy, you're busy, that's fine. You pick your 4 favorite skins. Now this will include 4 new skins and 4 of the existing esports skins, the ones that were already around for teams that were here last year. If you happen to already have those skins, you obtained them prior, don't worry about it. If you get all of the chest rolls, there's other opportunities for you to earn things, and you can also earn gems out of the chest as well. So if you weren't, you're like, I already have the 4 existing esports skins, so then you'll get compensated for it. You're not going to get nothing, we guarantee it.
Bruh.
Another cool thing about this battle pass is on the free track.
Freaking garbage CC, man.
Monster Cat music pack, which is pretty cool. So just out here repping more awesome Monster Cat music. So this one will feature tracks from Caster, Skylar, and Going Quantum and Have. So make sure you check that out as well. Again, on the free track. If you're
it's bad for a freaking battle pass. Is bad. Nobody wants no stupid SPL
cool,
team skins for the battle pass.
Along with some other things. So now it's time, I guess, to dive in. So I just wanted to give you a quick. You've seen this a little bit, but
who the hell's going to spend gems on that?
What all of the SPL skins look like. You've seen them.
Let's see what they look like, though. Yeah, let's see what they looked at for the prejudging.
So they were the ones featured in here. So there's going to be 8 skins in total, 1 for each of the teams. And it'll just be a great opportunity for you to rep all these skins, which is really exciting.
But they look like reskins. That's the thing about these SPL skins. They're just reskins of the freaking generic
There's something good about just locking into God in a jersey. You know what I mean?
Like sunglasses, the headsets.
It's got a nice little charm to it.
It's a little cheesy, but it's also very fun.
Yep.
It's cheesy, but you're like, you know what? Poseidon just got a T-shirt on.
Dude, I've never, ever,
I'm wearing a jersey.
that I can remember
super cool,
anybody in arena use an SPL skin, ever.
8 of them. 8 of the 10.
If they did, I don't even remember seeing it.
Skins for a battle pass. That is a lot. So you can rep your favorite teams, or you can get one of these other ones, starting with Rainbow Warrior.
Yeah, it's lazy as hell, dude. I agree.
I've been excited about this one.
This one is really cool. So,
really, really sick for Rainbow Warrior.
Yeah.
Okay,
there it is.
Yeah.
Look at this skin.
I saw this card art originally, and I was like, "That is E-Shell. That's crazy."
Yeah.
You should see it in game.
Yeah, the effects are nuts. It's I mean, a little biased here personally.
Is this part of the battle pass?
I think it's really sick.
I super agree with you. It's a really great skin, and we're not taking you in game for this one. This one you're just gonna have to see for yourself. So we like to save you some surprise.
This is a sick one.
Oh, I also wanted to say I was in a real mood when I wrote this voice pack.
Really?
Take that as you will. Yeah.
Okay.
There are some weird jokes.
Yeah, the one we wanted to see in game, they don't show in game.
Like,
dude, come on, dude, come on.
Like, who wrote this voice pack? And I was like, oh yeah, that was me.
Come on.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
No, it turned out well.
Is this not why you were here?
But it's.
Come on.
If you know my humor, you'll catch some of it.
See, that's why you got to watch this show, because otherwise you'd have no idea.
It's true.
You'd be like, what were they thinking when they wrote? So it's just aggro doing aggro stuff. So the last skin in this is one that I think is really hype. I think you'll all enjoy, and it's Camelot's King Maui.
The skin is just sick. I mean,
it's so good.
It's such
I
a cool
thought it was
throwback
Osiris
to
at
performance,
first.
too. I mean, they can't keep giving him Maui, bro. What was that?
It was
what was that, guys? I'm kidding, of course. But this Maui, of course, is voiced by the same voice actor as Maui. Brent Mukai did an amazing job revisiting the role
Can
as
we
well.
see this
But
one?
he's got a lot of fun references, a little bit of a esports bro vibe. He's saying, "Get in here, boys. We're going." He has some fun voice lines like "untouched, unscathed,
Yeah.
champions of the world."
Yeah.
Like a lot of those fun esporty lines. He even says like, "You're doing big man things." Like there's some fun references like that in there as well.
I love it.
It's a sick voice pack.
Yeah, and I mean, again, such a sick callback to such an amazing event. I remember standing there stage side as it all came to an end, like the cheering and the confetti.
Yeah, this is a disappointing
talking
battle
about
pass,
this,
man.
It almost makes me sad because I'm like, man,
Just
Worlds
smile and wave, boy. Smile and wave.
Planning it
Right?
a lot. It's almost here, and like
For
it's a
sure,
ton of
dude.
work, but it's actual just 65 days.
Dude,
It's
I'm
just
telling you,
crazy
this
stuff.
is not going to get
that
numbers back
that
up
is
in
it.
Smite.
Yeah, this
Come on,
skin
I
is
was
a
looking
love
for
letter
an
to esports,
awesome
so
battle
even
pass, you know what
beyond the
I'm
voice
saying?
lines,
Like
a
the
lot of the
Transformers and
effects that you're
Teenage
seeing as well,
Ninja
which is
Turtles
really
brought people
fun.
back.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll keep talking, but let's see him in game while you're talking, you know?
There he is. Right next to a statue, too, over in the soul lane.
True. He's got his own statue. Look at that.
So it's so cool.
Having
I
the
mean,
No,
logo
it's
in
not.
game like that
It's
is
not.
just-
Maybe it's cool if you're one of the kings.
Look, I wasn't exactly upset that my first god, who had just come out, was performing well at the World Championship. Maybe a little too well at times, but
Need a big nerf after that, huh?
yeah, he should. But I mean, that's
so when that island pops up, why didn't they put a castle on there? You know what I'm saying? If it's supposed to be King Arthur, they should have put. When the island popped up, they should have put a castle on it instead of a volcano.
It's got to be a Maui skin. And so I've been looking forward to this one for a really long time.
Yeah, there's some fun jokes in there. We got a chest
They should
joke.
put a castle that popped up.
Jeans joke as well. Like it's in
yeah,
my
the island
jeans.
looks the same.
It's in my jeans. 5-man alt joke is in there as well. Lots of fun references to the actual performance as well.
Yeah, so just like you said, a love letter to an amazing event.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be. This might be the first battle pass I do not buy.
So
dude.
an absolutely awesome.
This might actually be the first battle pass I
Cool
don't buy.
point to end the show on. So that will be the last skin of the battle pass. And
who knows? Maybe they'll give me, since it sucks so bad, maybe they'll give me more codes to give away to my Reapers, right?
That does bring us to the end of the show, though.
Maybe they'll give me some battle pass codes.
A world,
because that's the only way I'm gonna buy it.
We're all so hyped for it here. I don't think a day goes by that we aren't talking about Worlds this or Worlds that or what can we do. Like, it's going to be such an incredible event, and we are.
Wait.
Yeah, we are all
so close.
Like literally, we were sitting here before the camera started rolling, talking about Worlds.
Yep.
It's literally every spare thought feels like it's going towards it, because last year was so fun for everybody that it's only going to be better this year. And we cannot wait
this
to see
battle
y'all
pass
there,
sucks, dude.
And experience.
I think it's a very big letdown. I agree.
Well, cool. So again, we made it to the end of the show. That was a lot of stuff. If you've been following on the update notes, then you've probably absorbed a lot of it because you followed on the update notes. That's awesome. If not, you can check them out. But PTS should be coming soon. Keep your eyes up. Obviously, it's hard to tell exactly when it's going to come out. But it should be very soon, sometimes even right after
I'm
the
very
show.
disappointed with the way they've been going, dude. We need something to bring more blood back into Smite, dude, and this ain't going to cut it.
So
this is a very big letdown,
and
man.
Just getting into it on the Dev Insight show. So make sure that you're theory crafting, you're thinking of all those questions, and sharing them with them right after this in the Dev Insight show. There we go. I've talked so much now, I think I've actually run out of words. So we're going to call it here. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Of course.
Kicking off the last season of Year 10. It's going to be a wild one. So we are on the
countdown. They listen to your players, yeah, right? No one asked for this.
I cannot wait to see y'all there. Thank you so much. Catch you later.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I agree, dude. Well, that's pretty much it, man. That's our was it 10.12 or 10.12 freaking update. The battle pass, in my personal opinion, dude, is looking pretty damn weak, to tell you the truth. I'm very disappointed, man. I'm very disappointed. I understand they're trying to hype up the Conquest. Was it the SPL? I got it. But you know what? New players coming into Smite don't know what the hell the SPL is or even care about it. You know what I'm saying? We need something to bring back players to Smite. In the first place, they come obviously is Arena, and Arena didn't get any love this time around, or wasn't unexpected. But they could at least came with a stronger battle pass. You know what I'm saying? People have been asking for Power Rangers. People have been asking for SpongeBob. People have been asking for all these Nickelodeon type things that they had rights to previously. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why they couldn't do it if they really planned to. Maybe this is the last money they had for this year. Maybe next year we'll get some cool battle pass. I don't know, man. I don't know. But it is what it is, baby. It is what it is, right? So they say that SPL is going to go live here soon. If you're even interested in that, I know I don't care, but it is what it is. So the next stream that we're going to end up doing is on Sunday 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. In the morning, we should be streaming some Smite, right? So, hey, man, what do you guys think about this new battle pass? Let me know. Put it down in the comments of the stream, or I've already seen most of your comments. It cracks me up, right? But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to drag this on. Hey, man, appreciate everybody coming out and sitting through this craziness with me. And again, hopefully we see you guys on Sunday. I'm Dark Garza, Yo G on GC. See you then.